happening in my world. I don't understand any of this. Today's a good day to tune in because the idea of yesterday from today. Alright, so C-4, elimination with multiplication. We're going to start by talking about elimination again. We talked about eliminate yesterday, and we came up with a lot of words. Who remembers one of the words that eliminate could be replaced with? We have eliminate. What else? Get rid of.
Dante said take away.
Take away. Good. So in math, when we eliminate, we're going to be multiplying something by 0. So it's when we have a coefficient of 0. So that's our goal, is to get that coefficient of 0. So either we want a 0x or we want a 0y. That's our goal when we do this elimination. Multiple. But then came a bunch of people, so maybe it's being dealt with. I don't know. Alright, here we go with example number 1. Example 1, we have negative 5x minus 14y equals 13. And then we have 10x plus 7y equals 16. So as we look at those x's or y's, we need to figure out which one can we make into a 0. If we follow yesterday's ideas, could we do a negative 5 and a 10? Could we add or subtract those to make 0? Nope. What about 14 and 7? Nope. And we don't really care about the 13 and 16 because we're only worried about those x's or y's to eliminate. Okay, so we can't get those x's and y's to be 0 just by adding or subtracting. So what we're going to do is we're going to use multiplication. Okay, and in this problem, what we're looking for is there a way that I can multiply just one equation to get the same coefficient of the other? Okay, so could I multiply negative 5 by a number to get 10? Yeah, negative 5 times what? 2. Yeah, negative 2. You could do 2. Okay, or in this case, we have another option. We could actually get rid of the 7y by multiplying 7 by what? How would I get that 14? 2. Okay, so we have a decision to make in this problem. We can either get rid of the x's or the y's. As a class, what do you feel? Do you want to get rid of the x's or should we get rid of the y's? X's? Okay. So we're going to take this top equation. And I'm going to multiply each of these things by 2. So I'm going to do times 2, times 2. And if I do it on one side of the equation, I have to do it on the other side, so times 2. Okay, I'm using that little dot for times. It doesn't need to be. So with that negative 2, we could have done a negative 2. That's why we have so many options. We could do a negative 2. And with the negative 2, it would give us a positive 10. And that's just going to come out with whether or not we add or subtract. We just need to get something matching that 10. Okay? I like to multiply by 2, so I'm going to keep it a 2. All right, then we're going to write that equation over here. What is negative 5 times 2? Negative 10. So I'll have negative 10x. Negative 14 times 2. Anyone got 14 plus 14 known?
Negative
28. Yep. Y equals 13 times 2. 26. Okay, now the bottom equation is going to stay just as it is, because then we'll still have that matching equation, or matching coefficient. So I have 10x plus 7y equals 16. So we didn't have to do anything to that bottom equation. The top equation, we multiplied everything by 2. Now we can use our elimination. So are we going to eliminate the x's or eliminate the y's? X's. Now with what we multiplied by, when we multiplied by 2, we got a negative 10. So I have a negative 10 and a positive 10. How am I going to eliminate 0x? Do I want to do negative 10 plus 10 or negative 10 minus 10? Good, plus. And I like to write that plus. I write it everywhere. So plus, plus, plus. You don't have to write it in each spot. I think it's really helpful. And we are going to work vertically. So in this one we have negative 28 plus 7. Negative 21. Y equals 26 plus 16. I think 42. Right? Alright, so negative 21y equals 42. I'm going to just write that underneath without that 0x. So negative 21y equals 42. I want to solve that for x. I'm sorry, not solve for x, because what's my variable? Y. Silly me. So how are we going to undo multiplying by negative 21? Divide by negative 21. And if we do it on one side, bro, do it on the other. Let's not do that with our gum. Thanks. Appreciate it. Alright, negative 21 divided by negative 21 is just 1. So I get y. Okay, 42 divided by negative 21. Remember, if you're using your phone calculator, you're going to use that negative button for that. So 42 divided by, you type in 21 first, and then you hit that negative sign at the top there. And we get negative 2. So we're done? What do we still need to do? Find x. Good. We have to have an x and a y. Alright, so here's kind of the cool part now, is that we want to find that x. We can use any of the equations that we have. We can use this.
We have 4 choices of that.
Really 3. But that's okay. This one's just a repeat. Sorry, Miss Arter. I didn't mean to correct you. That was rude of me. Because these ones are the same. But there's really kind of 4 choices. I'm sorry. That was so rude. Alright, so do you guys want to pick this original top one, the original bottom one, or this new top one? The bottom one here? The 10x plus 7y equals 16? Okay, I would pick that one too because it has all positive. So I'm going to write underneath it 10x plus 7. But instead of y, what are we going to put in for y? Negative 2. And it equals 16. All right, 7 times negative 2. We want to simplify that. Good, negative 14. And then are we going to undo the 10 or the negative 14? Good. How do we undo adding negative 14? We could minus a negative 14. That can get you a little tricky with all the minus and negatives. What's another way to undo an adding a negative? Add a positive, yeah. That's what I like to do, because otherwise I can just, there's too many negatives, it gets a little confusing to me. Alright, and we end up with 10x equals 30. Okay, we divide both sides by 10, and x will equal that's 30 divided by 10. 3. So for our final answer, how are we going to show our final answer? Good, our x and our y, our ordered pair. X comes first, and then our y. What is our x? 3. And what is our y? -2. Now, what's kind of cool about this is we did this problem last year. We haven't done this yet today. You guys are our first class today. We did this problem last year, and if we take a look at it, last year we multiplied the bottom equation by 2. So we did the opposite. But then that got rid of our y's. We ended up with 0y. So we actually solved for x first, even though we solved for y first. We plugged it back in, found our y. We plugged it back in and found our x. But overall, what do you notice about our answers? They're the same. There's like 20 million ways to do this. That was really good. So you have to decide on what you want to do. You have to make your own plan. And then you follow through that plan. Okay? Alright, here we go with number 2. This one's going to be just a smidge different. So you're going to want to make sure that if you understood number 1, great. We're going to build off of that with number 2. Alright, so number 2, we have 10x plus 4y equals 30. And for our second equation, 7x plus 5y equals 10. So can I add or subtract to undo those x's or y's? No. What? Why do we have to multiply both the bottom and the top? Good. When that will eliminate which one, the x's or y's? You got it. I'm going to explain that a little bit. Do you want to explain it, or do you want me to explain it? You want me to explain your thinking? Are you sure? Okay. So on the first one, we had that 5 and 10 that lined up, and we could do -5 times 2 is 10. Here, can I multiply 7 by something to get 10? Or the other way around, 10 times something to get 7? Not a nice number. We could use a fraction or a decimal, but that just is a lot of work. Okay, what about 4 and 5? Can I multiply 4 by something to get 5? Nope. What about 5 times something to get 4? Nope. So we need to multiply both of those equations. And we can do that by deciding first which variable do we want to eliminate. Should we eliminate the x's or the y's? Okay. You guys like x's. We did x last time, so let's switch it up and do the y. Okay. So for this top equation, I want to actually take a look at the bottom equation of the y's. What number matches with the y on the bottom? We have that coefficient of 5. So we're going to take that 5 and we're going to multiply all the top by 5. The bottom equation, we're going to multiply everything by that other coefficient of y on the other equation. So that coefficient is 4. So we'll do times 4, times 4, times 4. Now if you look in the middle, we're doing that same multiplication. Here it's 4 times 5. And on the bottom it's 5 times 4. So because they're really the same problem, what's going to happen with those y's? Yeah, they'll match. They're the same answer. They'll both be 20. So then we can eliminate that. Alright, I'm going to just kind of show like an arrow where we went from that. So what is 10? X plus 4 times y. I'm sorry, not 4 times y, 4 times 5. 20. And then for 5 times 30, does anyone remember how could we do that without using a calculator? Yeah, 5 times 3 is 15, and then we just add a 0 onto it with that 30. So we had 10 there. Okay, now for the bottom equation, 7 times 4, 28. 5 times 4, 20. And 10 times 4, 40. All right, at this point, if you feel like you understand how to do this and you want to work ahead, this is the point where it should be similar to yesterday. Relatively similar. All right, so our goal, we said, was to eliminate our y's. We want to get a 0 y. That's our goal. So, are we going to add or subtract? Subtract. Good. 20 minus 20 would give us that 0. So I'm going to make sure I subtract everywhere across. So I'm going to subtract here, and I'm going to subtract here. All right, so 50 minus 28. Yep, 22. 150 minus 40, 110. Okay, now to make that solvable problem, I'm going to get rid of that y because that was eliminated. 22x equals 1. And we're going to solve that equation so that we get an x equals. So what does it mean when 22 and x are touching like that? What are we doing with them currently? Multiply. How do we undo multiply? Divide. Good. And remember with that division, you can either use that line to use division, dividing, or you can do that dividing symbol with the 2 dots. All right. 110 divided by, oh, you can't see that at all, 22. X equals 5. Okay, now again, we have a lot of options. What do we still need to do? Find our y. And to find our y, we're going to substitute it back into one of the equations. How many equations do we have to choose from? We have this original top one, right? Original bottom one. Or we can pick one of these new ones that we made, the 50x plus 20y equals 150, or the 28x plus 20y equals 40. Which one of those do you want to use? The top, bottom, top, bottom? Top? Of the old one or of the new one? The new one? Yeah? Let's do it. Alright, so I'm going to take that x equals 5, and I'm going to plug it into that top equation, that 50x plus 20y equals 150. So 50x But we know our x. What is our x? 5. If you need to write a little x there to remind yourself where we got that from. Plus 20y equals 150. If you already did one and you picked a different equation, pick a different equation. Substitute it. See if you get the same answer as us. You don't have to use that 50x plus 20y equals 150. All right, 50 times 5 250. We're in that two-step equation. So to undo, should we undo the coefficient or the constant? We always want to do that constant, that number that's by itself. So at 250, how would we undo a positive 250? Minus it, yeah. Or do like a negative. You could think of it as adding a negative. And if we do it on one side, do it on the other. 20y equals 150 minus 250. Yep, negative 100. Divide by 20. Y equals, what is negative 100 divided by 20? 5, yeah. Did anyone work ahead on this problem and they picked a different equation to solve for y? Or did everyone use that 50x and 20y? You did the 7x and 5y? Okay. Yeah. You did the 7x plus, you did 7 times 5 plus 5y. Yeah. Did you get negative 5 as your answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so for our final answer, we get 5, negative 5. Awesome. And again, I could show you last year's work. Last year's work, we got rid of the x's, so we multiplied the top by 7, we multiplied the bottom by 10. We did the whole problem completely different, but we ended up with the same answer. Kind of crazy. So, big thing for today is making a plan, deciding do you want to eliminate the x's or do you want to eliminate the y's, and then deciding how you're going to do that. Okay?